Hello, friends. This is your September Pilates move. So I'm a minimalist. I don't usually use a lot of gear in our classes, but we're going to start with a little foot release. So if you have a tennis ball, and then we're going to do a little ab series that you could use a squishy ball or even a rolled up towel or blanket. There's a standing move we're going to do that it might be helpful for you to have a yoga block or a small step stool. When we do our standing stuff, some of my ladies like to have a foam roller to help balance, or you could drag over a dining chair. And then plank rows, we're going to use one dumbbell. Yep, so if you don't have any of these, don't worry. If you do have your gear, you could pause your video for a second and go gather up all these little toys. Yeah, but we'll start with our foot release. So you're going to take your ball and bring it underneath your big toe knuckle. So I'm just south of my big toe. So I'm going to mush on my ball and then pull my foot over the ball with a little bit of pressure still on the ball. So I'm not rolling back and forth. I'm grabbing. Now I'm on the middle of my foot, second, third metatarsal. Grab it and mushing down with some amount of pressure. You decide how much pressure. Then I grab some of that soft tissue, roll it towards my heel so that my ball is traveling from the front of my foot to the back of my foot. Now I'm on my pinky toe side. I'm going to grab, mush, grab, and mush. It takes me about 5 mushes to get down to my heel. And then I can push straight down on my heel. And then take a little rest break, compare left and right feet. Notice how they feel from just doing that little bit of stuff. Now we're going to go second foot, big toe knuckle, or just this side of my big toe knuckle. Grab a little meat, roll your foot on the ball, and mush. So this is myofascial release, meaning one of my goals is to sort of iron out that soft tissue underneath my foot. Another goal is to get a little more mobility. So when I mush down, I might even see the heads of my metatarsals, or those bones in my feet, moving around a little bit. If you don't have that ability or that mobility in your foot, doing this kind of stuff will help get that mobility, suppleness. So what we don't want is when our foot's like a little block of wood and there's not much movement. I've made my way to my pinky toe side. Oh, there's a little spot that felt kind of sticky, so I could go back to that sticky spot. Not too much time on any one spot. Made it down to my heel. Okay, put your ball away. We got bigger fish to fry. How about a baby bear? Everybody's favorite baby bear. I'm gonna hug my knees and just let my legs flop out to the side. So I'm not kidding. Really let this be floppy. Flop left, flop right. So this is not core or back or anything. I'm not trying to do a lot of work. I'm just trying to be floppy. So this is like pre-Pilates stuff before we get to our big strength. Now it might feel comfortable to roll all the way over onto one side. If so, do that. Roll. Well, if that doesn't feel so good on your back today, you can do a tiny version, but your goal is to release your back, release your hips, release your neck. We'll do one more each side. Flop and flop. And so I'm going to kind of whip through these moves. Our next one is puppet arms. I'm going to reach my arms to the ceiling, and as I do that, I can feel my rib cage sink and these little muscles contract in the front of my ribs. Ugh, I feel a big stretch in my back. And then I sink my shoulders into the mat. So I'm doing reach my arms, sink my ribs. Maybe my chin even lifts a little bit. Ugh. And then settle your arms and shoulders into the mat. Inhale. So I'm boogieing right along, but I'll give you some options. If you wanted to stretch this video out into a full hour, I'll show you as we move along through some of these moves where you could pause it and do, say, another couple, 3 rounds of each thing. But I know you're short on time, so I'm going to see if I can keep this to a tight, like 30, 40 minutes. Okay, so that's our puppet arms. Rest your arms by your side. let this be a really easy rock. This is knee sway. So I'm letting my knees sway side to side, knees to the left, knees to the right. Now, when I do that, I can feel a stretch up into my torso, but I'm not trying to get my knees to the ground. I'm not trying to make this into a big old thing. I'm not pushing. It's like some external force rocking my legs, my pelvis, really easy. I'm going to stop before I feel any kind of pain. I feel that edge of like, oh, that's a little bit my end point, or where I feel a gentle stretch. Yeah. Take another big deep breath. Okay, so that's our release work. Now we got to get organized. Let's do a little bridge variation. I'm going to bring my feet about hip distance. And how close? A little further out than where my fingers could touch my heels. Bridge up, bridge down. Mush into your heels. Bridge up. So you decide how high you're lifting your pelvis off the ground. I'm going for, my end result is that this hip joints, plural, are in extension, meaning this would be hips flexed. This would be hips totally extended. Now, I don't want to do that at the expense of my ribs going boing. So if I feel my ribs and my belly popping out, I should come down. Smaller bridge. We're going to hold this next one. So figure that out. Ribs knitted together, hips long, neck long. Really easy. Lift one leg, put it down. No big deal. Lift your other leg, put it down. Teeny tiny little bridge marching. So my standing leg has to do the work as my lifting leg lifts. Just testing the waters. One more each side, bridge march. Come on down, rest. Take a big deep breath. Big exhale. We're going to do round 2. You could do the same exact thing, which was lifting a foot, or you could extend your leg, maybe even stretch your toes, lower, lift, put your foot down. Extend your leg, lower, lift, put your foot down. Stretch your leg. Take a big deep breath. We're going to do 5 of these. I'm counting left and right as 1. So that's 2. Here comes number 3. Stretch down and up. So I feel a big active hammy stretch. Down and up. We got 2 to go. Inhale. And my left side definitely feels different than my right. That's why I like doing this single-sided stuff. We are not symmetrical typically. Last one. Inhale, exhale. Okay, that's your bridge marching. Come on down. We got swimming, which is one of our September 5. So for Lisa 1, I'm going to come onto my belly, make my big X. Now, if I really stretch my arms and legs long, like I'm being pulled on the rack, see what happens to my neck, how it's kind of short? Yeah, so I want to stretch long, but then pull your shoulders down and back. And you might even roll your shoulders up and down and back a couple times. See what that feels like to be organized across your upper back. So this, not what we're going for. And you can hear how my voice changes when I let my shoulders creep up. This is what we want. And I'm even going to do pinkies down, thumbs up today. Okay, so that's our good setup. Belly button lifts. Opposite arm and leg. Exhale, lower. Opposite arm and leg. So I'm alternating left arm, right leg, right arm, left leg. So I'm showing version 1. You could do this. You can come down and take a break if you need a rest break. I'm going to go ahead and show you version 2, which is a little bit faster. I take all 4 limbs off. Ooh, double time with my breath and my movement. Come down and rest. Okay, so if you need help with that one, if you feel it gripping in your back or neck, come back to your tiny version. Or you can always message me after watching any of these and go, how am I supposed to do that without hurting my back? It shouldn't hurt your back, any of those moves. Okay, let's do a little baby crunch. I'm gonna move this out of the way. If you have a towel roll or a squishy ball, Find it and put it not in your low back, not in your neck, but right about thoracic spine, bra strap land. Yep, so I'm gonna find that little sweet spot where I'm resting my upper back. See where my ball is, upper back. Now I don't wanna do this. This is tucking my pubic bone up, but I also don't wanna do this. See how my ribs have popped out? So I wanna find my happy neutral where my pelvis is heavy, ribs knit together, hands behind your head. Take a big inhale. Exhale, push your ribs into the ball and lift up and do a teeny tiny little crunch. Elbows reach away and then sink back just an inch. So I'm doing a teeny little crunch. Elbows lift, push your head into your hands, sink your ribs. Keep sinking your ribs, but move your head and shoulders back an inch. So I'm going to lift my head towards the ceiling, but I'm lifting by connecting all of this, elbow, shoulder, ribs. This feels like a lot of work for right here, really specific spot. I'm not doing a big giant move. Last two. Lift up, push your elbows to the ceiling, push your head into your hands. This is a lot of work. Last one, we're gonna hold. Take a big deep breath. So I'm in that upbeat position. I'm gonna lift my right elbow, tiny little twist. Back to center, lift my left elbow. Tiny little twist. Right elbow lift. By now, this should be on fire. Not your low back, not your neck. You got 3 to go. 3 each side, right? Left, see if you can stay up in your curve. Don't fall back over the ball. I'm pushing my ribs into the ball. Last 2. Lift up a little higher if you can. Last 1. Ooh. Okay, come down and rest. So that's kind of a weird move, and it's pretty dang specific. So if you need help, holler at me. Text me, send me an email. That's a good prep, though, for this next little series we're going to do. So this mysterious C curve in Pilates land. How can I lift my head and shoulders without changing where I've set up my pelvis? That's what we're going to practice now. One leg lifts, one leg lifts. Here comes your single leg stretch. So one version might be keeping this knee at 90. That's my right leg. Stretching my left leg long. Left knee bent, right leg stretches. This is where all my work is happening. It's not a leg exercise, it's this. My legs are working, but I'm trying to avoid twisting or rocking my pelvis. That's hard. Come up into your C curve. Oof. Maybe you hug one knee in. Other leg stretches. Maybe you pick up the pace. Inhale, exhale. So if you get in trouble, just slow it down or put something on the ground, like put your head on the ground, put a foot on the ground if you need to do single leg. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, we're gonna add our twist. Now here's your crisscross. Hands behind your head. Same twist we practiced earlier. Oh, that's hard. Lift your elbow to your opposite knee. Here's slow-mo version. Here's fast version. Last 4. 3. Last 2. We got one last thing in our little trifecta. Both legs stretch long on the diagonal. Bend your knees in here to the arms. Ooh, legs reach, arms reach, and then circle your arms around. We got 10 of those. We already got 2. We're going to call this number 3. Ooh, rest your legs. 4, try to keep your head right where it is. 5, so my torso is staying nice and stable. 6, 7, 8. That's 2. 9, shoulders stay up off the ground. Last 1. Oh boy, come on down and rest. So by the end of that, my neck does feel like it's working a little, but this little mystery zone, that's where I feel like most of my work is happening. Okay, what do we got now? Oh yeah, so this will be a nice stretch for all those tummy muscles. Come on to your tummy. Roll your shoulders up and down and back. roll a little marble away with your nose to come up to some type of back extension. So go really slow. See if you can picture which little vertebra. Cervical vertebra. Now getting into my thoracic, my ribs. Now moving down my spine. So the slower I go, the more information I'll have about what muscles are working. Inhale, lift. And if you can imagine somebody's pulling the top of your head and pulling your legs to the back wall versus this, just jamming myself up. So I'm getting longer as I lift up. You could push into your hands a little bit for sure. Last one we'll hold. Take another little break here. Literally lift your shoulders up, roll them down and back. So I want this really broad, open sesame position across my chest and shoulders. Not this, but this. One more big inhale. Big exhale. Come on down, rest. Okay, we got a single leg lift. Now this is one where you could stretch this out. In our Wednesday night class, we're doing 3 of these. We're just going to do 1 each side for these purposes today. So I'm going to lift my left leg really straight, 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 straight knee. Doesn't have to be high, too. We're going to do 10 of these guys. 3. Straight-legged lift. Pelvis stays still. 4. Tummy's lifted. 5. 6. So my hamstring is working. My glute. My belly. 9. Hold this last one. 10. 10 circles, whichever direction you want to go first, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to go in reverse now. 10 circles the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice if you're actually making a circle, last one, or if it's this wonky shape. Yeah, shake out your legs, rest for a minute. We're going to do second side for me. That's my right leg. Straight, straight knee. Notice if your knee is straight or like kind of straight. See if you can really get your knee straight. 2, straight-legged lift. 3, 4. This hip stays down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold this last one. We're going circles. 10 each way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse your circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So by the end of that, I feel my hamstrings and inner thighs working a lot. If you want to do 2 more rounds, pause your video. 2 more rounds of your leg lift and leg circles. But we got bigger fish to fry. We got to do our roll up. I'm on my back again. Take a big inhale. Stretch your arms and really, really stretch like somebody's pulling your arms to the back wall. Now draw your shoulders down. You're going to keep them down. So I feel all these muscles in my side, rib, side waist working. Here's my little C curve. We practiced this earlier. Now I might be able to get all the way up. I might just stop here. This might be plenty for today. Come down. If you can work on your full roll up, here's a way to help you get up. You could pull with your hands. This is a totally legitimate roll up variation. Yep. And you could stretch your legs on, and then coming back, I can pull with my hands using a little arm strength. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, your choice of roll up, partial or full. Inhale. Exhale. Reach. Roll down. Now there is another version, the zombie arm position, I call it. And you could even leave your legs here. 4 more of these guys. So a straight-legged variation. Inhale. Exhale. To me, that feels more challenging. Last 3. Big exhale. Last 2. I'm trying to resist the urge to throw myself up or push with my back. My tummy is working. Last one. Okay, that was our roll up. Corkscrew is next. This is one of our September 5. So I'm going to come back to my back. Bring your hands to your legs, and if you're comfortable with legs together, bring them together. So my knees and big toes are touching. And then let this be kind of lazy version like we did with our baby bear. I'm just getting the hang of this move. I'm sort of massaging the back of my pelvis. I'm making a circle, knees to the right, knees away from me, to the left, back to center. If you can keep your legs together, do so. If that doesn't feel good, you can separate them a little. I'm working on squeezing inner thighs. Now this is pretty relaxed. My upper back, shoulders stay on the mat. In fact, you could press your arms into the mat for this next part. Now I'm at 90-degree angle. Inhale, exhale. Switch directions. If you want to play around with straightening your legs, here's where we're headed next. Ooh, now that's a big old stretch for my hammies. Inhale, exhale. If you go, nope, that's too much, go back to bent knee position. Inhale, exhale. There's one last little piece that you could add, lifting your hips off the ground at the top. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Okay, so that's our corkscrew. Remember, this is a nice version. Smaller, yeah, easier to control. What do we got now? Plank rows. I'm gonna get my weight for this one. If you don't have a hand weight, call me and I'll bring you one. No, they're really handy, these weights. And I like these hex weights because they sit flat on the floor. Okay, knees down. But if you don't have one of these, you could just do the picking up your hand variation, or you could probably find something in your kitchen or your garage that's heavy that you could lift. I've got an 8-pounder. So we're going to do 10 of these guys. Plank rows. I'm showing the knee down version. This is 3. This is the straight leg version. 4. Ugh, that's a lot harder. 5. Watch my hips. 6. I'm trying to not move my hips. If that's too much, come down to knees. 8. 9. Last one. Oh boy, that's hard to do. Take a little wrist break. So that one is a back exercise, right? Rows. But there's a lot of other stuff happening in my core. I felt my inner thighs working. All right, I'm really going to count these ones for sure. Knees down looks like so. Now here's some ways I could muck up my plank. Nope, we don't want a saggy plank. And I'm also not really back here. I'm in a straight line. Shoulders, hips, knees. There's 2. 3. 4. I'll go back to the straight-legged version just to show you. 5. 6. So pick one of those for today. 7. 8. 9. Trying to not move my pelvis. That's hard. Oh, that's 10. Okay, we're done with our weight. Yep. Now your block could come in handy, or a couch cushion if you struggle to sit upright with straight legs. Yeah. So if I find myself doing this, that's no good. I want to sit on something. Block, couch cushion, yoga bolster. And we got our spine stretch. Sit up nice and tall. Imagine somebody picking you up out of your waist. Shrug your shoulders. Let them drop. So we worked on this C curve earlier from the floor. I'm going to drop my chin. Think of curling up like a little fiddlehead fern. And then I sit up nice and tall. Exhale. Roll down your imaginary wall. Reach. Unroll. Just sit up tall. And you literally could do this with your back against the wall. That's what I want to feel like I'm peeling my back off the wall. Yeah, for this variation. So I'm not really going back off of my pelvis. Dive bombing up and over. Let's do 2 more of these guys. Spine stretch. Big exhale. Stretch. Last one. Sit up nice and tall. We got our bow and arrow. So you might be able to put your palms together. Bring your left elbow back. You can even look at your elbow. Yep. Now check your feet. As they move out, try to get your feet nice and still so my legs don't move. Try second side. Right arm pulls back. Push your heels away. So my twist is happening. Rib, shoulder land. Left arm pulls back. I'm squeezing my shoulder blade, kind of like with that row we did, but now you are twisting your upper back. Pulling your elbow back. Let's do 4 more of these guys. 4. Bow and arrow. 3. Turn and look at your elbow. Last 2. Last 1. Okay, come on up to standing. I'm checking my little cheat sheet to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, no, we got to do mermaid and then we'll come up to standing. Okay, so your mermaid, you're going to sit in your, whatever you want to call this, 4th position or 1 knee bend. Now, if I'm here and then I'm going to do a side bend, that's not going to work so well. So if you're having trouble getting that back butt on the ground, sit on your handy dandy block. That's a totally good version. Or if this hurts your knee, it shouldn't hurt your knee. Yes, and I've got this hip on my block. Big old side bend. And a side bend. Now I'm still thinking of, if I had my wall behind me, my head, my shoulders, and maybe my thumb would be on my wall, right? So I'm not leaning forward. We're gonna do a little twist in a minute, but this ain't that. 1 more each side. This is big sweeping side bend. Now check this out. I'm gonna reach what I'm calling my back arm up and over. Ugh, there's my twist. Come back to your side bend before you come up. Same thing, 3 more. Side bend, rotation. So I feel this diagonal stretch all the way through my back. Last 2, side bend and twist. Last 1. Okay, switcheroo. Now we'll do side number 2. So you might bring your prop around to the other hip. So it seems backwards, but if this hip is higher, I'm propping up my lower hip in an effort to get my hips level. And this knee might come up if your hips are kind of tight. That's okay. You could even prop this leg up to let it sort of relax if you had another bolster or a couch cushion. Okay, we might as well be comfortable to start, right? No need to suffer needlessly. This should feel like big old stretch, this whole side of your ribs. Let your shoulder blade move. So I'm not trying to like jam my shoulder down. Let my whole arm, shoulder, my head is moving. Big side bend. Yep, now we'll add our twist. Side bend and reach. Look underneath. I'm looking at my back of my hip. Side bend and reach. Now, I kind of blazed through that last one. I am trying to come back to my side bend before I come up, because this is prepping us for our big twist, which is another variation on this mermaid move. Last one. Side bend and reach. Oh, yeah, that feels good. So I feel a big old stretch all the way down my side. Okay, now we'll come up to standing. Yep. I would suggest holding a weight for your calf raise. One weight or two weights. Now, you can't really see my black socks on my black mat, but I'll turn to the side to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to press straight up, come straight down. So I'm basically lifting my heels. Lift and lower. Now here's what my little back likes to do. Lean, alley-oop. Oh no, that's not what we want. I'm going to go straight up and straight down. So I'm lifting my heels straight up. So to do that straight up and down thing, I'm really thinking inner thighs squeeze together, straight knees. And if I can picture I'm leaning on a wall behind me so that my body doesn't bow forward. Let's do two more of these guys. See if you can control your descent. Yep, coming down nice and slow. Last one. If I step out just a hair, we got our parallel squat. I'm still holding my weight. And then stand up, lean to the right, karate kick to the left. So we're just going to boogie right along. Parallel squat, lean to the left, karate kick. Now, if you find this is challenging your balance more than anything, go find your piece of furniture or your foam roller. Parallel squat, stand up, lean, karate kick. Parallel squat, stand up, lean, karate kick. Yeah, so don't be afraid to use your balance, buddy. If you need it. Whoa, don't fall over. Like that, yeah. Parallel squat, lean. Or you can go back to holding your weight. Let's do four more of these guys. Some type of a squat. Karate. See, I think it's easier if I'm holding the weight. It makes me feel a little more balanced. What do I know? 3. 2 more each side. Squat, karate kick, squat. Last one. Okay, that's one of our 5, a little combo move. Let's do our Pilates push-up. So I'm going to stand at the edge of my mat, roll down. Same thing we've done a bunch of times. We do this from the floor, from the seat. I'm imagining hanging over my barrel, clothesline. Walk yourself out. Straight-legged plank again. Looks like so. I could always drop to my knees. So we're going to do 1 round of push-ups. So think about how many you can do comfortably. This is another part where if you wanted to stretch this out into a longer video, you could do 3 rounds of push-ups. So this is what knees down looks like. Doesn't have to be super low to the ground. Here's straight-legged. Uh-oh, I lost count. Let's do 4 more. One more. Now I'm going to go through my dog briefly. Yeah, ooh, that's a nice hammy stretch. Walk myself back. Heels come down. At some point, you'll need to bend your knees. Roll up. So like I said, if you want to stop your video, do 2 more rounds of your push-up. There's your chance. I'm going to stand on my block for this next one. We're going to do leg swings. So this is good for a lot of things. It's lubing up my hip joint. I'm just letting my leg go. It's like, whee! Yeah. The standing leg and foot is having to work. And why do I stand on the block? I feel like it's less chance of me like stubbing my toe on the floor. Sometimes when we do these yoga balances and stand on the block, it feels more difficult. I can't explain that. The block is still a hard surface. Why would it be more challenging? I don't know. Take another big deep breath. So you could do bent knee. You could do straight leg. You could play with flexed foot. Whoa, switch sides. Leg swing. So this is real loose. Loosey. I put this at the end because I was putting all of our standing exercises together, but this could be a nice warm-up move if you're about to go for walk or a hike, get out of your car and do some leg swings. And it's okay if you're a little bit wobbly. You could bring over your dining chair if you need a little balance, buddy. Okay, we got one standing balance. This is not a Pilates move. It's a yoga balance exercise, but we're throwing it because it's one of my favorites. So before we were doing that parallel position, like so. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a turned out foot, and then just slide your leg to the side. Hang on to your roller if you need it, and start to tilt. See what this feels like to tilt, kind of like what we were doing before with that karate kick. Where I'm headed is eventually tilting to some degree. You decide how far over. Stretch your arms. Imagine leaning on the wall behind you. I'm giving us 30 seconds from right now. So push into your feet, push into your arms, think of leaning back to use your tummy muscles. So I'm not popping my ribs out or overly tightening my upper back. Halfway there. Take another big deep breath. And it's okay to be kind of wobbly, bobbly, 10 seconds. Stretch your arms. Whoa, see, like that. So if I focus on one thing or hold on to something, it helps me balance. Okay, there's your half a minute. Come down, shake out your arms and legs. We got side number 2. Last standing exercise, and then we're stretching. Okay, so play around with your tilt. So I'm tilting at my hip. I'm not bending over to do this. This is staying nice and long. Yeah, and then decide if you need a little piece of furniture or balance buddy. I'm gonna give us a half a minute in our half minute. So this one I'm a little piece of toast in the toaster, yeah. Stretch your legs. You can play with that pointed or flexed foot. Stretch your arms and then bring your hands a little bit in front of you. So you can widen your upper back so that I'm not doing this, or what I call ginching my back. One more big deep breath. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs. Okay, come on out of there. It's time to stretch. Yeah, let's do our calf stretch. So you might use your balance buddy for this. Can you see what my foot is doing? I got the ball of my foot on my rolled up towel, heel on the mat. This may feel like plenty of a stretch just being here. You may be able to step this other foot forward until it comes into kind of a low or tiny little lunge variation. So back heel on the ground. For now, my back knee is straight. But you could also do this, I got baggy pants, it's hard to see. You could soften your back knee a little bit. Yeah, so you could play with straight knee, soften your knee. One more big deep breath. And we'll do the other side. So balance buddy if you need it. No need to be all like, ooh, wobbly. If you don't need it, just stand on your foot. Let me show you what my leg is doing. So I got my big toes, or front of my foot resting on my thing. And I can start to walk this foot forward. Yeah. So now maybe my front, oh yeah, this ankle feels different. My front knee is bent, back leg is straight. So this is kind of my goofier, tighter ankle. So I'm just gonna coax it into softening. I'm gonna bend my knee, straighten. I'm not forcing anything. I'm just finding that spot where I feel some resistance. Hanging out, breathing. One more big deep breath. And then we'll come to the mat for the rest of these. So I'm going to do my quad stretch on my side, like so. So one option is bringing your foot back behind you and just trying to get this hip into extension. And I'm still in Pilates land, so I still got my ribs organized. So I feel my hamstring working, my hip in extension. Yeah, if this feels okay to grab your foot, that might be a nice variation. If your knee doesn't like that, just go back to the other version. Big inhale, big exhale. Now you might pull your foot towards your bum or push your foot into your hand. And then let's stay on the same leg. And like I said, I'm kind of whipping through these, but you could spend a little more time, hand. This is my little bit tighter handy. I'm just going to play around with bending and straightening and bending and straightening. See if I can get the back of my leg to gently lengthen. Relax your back. Relax your neck. And you might hold here for a breath or two. You could stretch your toes. Flex your foot. Relax your jaw. There you stick out your tongue. Yawn. And then same leg that we've been working with is going to cross over. Here's a real lazy, easy does it hip stretch. So I could gently push this knee away. Really easy. If your knee likes this version, you might lift what was your forefoot and hug this leg to you. Or you could do a little bonus bend and straighten here too. Yeah. So my pelvis is still resting on the ground. I haven't tucked my butt under. If that's too much on your knee, you come right back here. Easy does it. Pressy. Okay, now we got that whole thing on the inside. So we could spend 20 minutes just stretching, right? I'm sort of boogieing right along. Quad stretch. I'm hiding my foot behind my bum. Breathing. You could push your foot into your hand. You could pull your foot towards you. I don't feel knee pain. I feel a big stretch down the front of my hip and quad. One more big inhale. And roll onto your back. So this is my right leg. This is the leg I was just stretching. I'm still going to be working on this right leg when I roll onto my back. Easy does it bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Doesn't have to be that your leg gets all the way straight. Maybe it does. So we followed our little Ross protocol. We did some release work, that baby bear, knee sway. We did some organization, our bridge marching and our swimming. We did a lot of good strength work and a little balance and a little stretch. And the 5. So our 5 are swimming, plank rows. Now we're doing a little hip stretch. Squat and side kick. Corkscrew. Camel. How did I forget camel? Oh my gosh. Okay, we got to do camel. See, I said them out loud, and then I remembered camel. We can't forget the last of our 5. Okay, so let's do our camel. So there's lots of ways to do this. What I think of is the Fosbury flop. Remember him, the first guy to jump over the high jump backwards. So rather than thinking, push my butt forward, nah, that's not going to be nice, or dump myself back, what I'm picturing is this, like somebody's picking me up out of my waist and I'm hanging from the ceiling. So you might make fists, put your fists in your low back or the backs of your hips, lift your chest. Ooh, that's a big old chest stretch for sure. If this feels comfortable, you can drop your head back. If that doesn't feel good on your neck, look straight ahead. So see how I'm not jamming my hips forward, I'm lifting my chest. This is very similar to that cobra we did on the floor. Come out of this, rest for a second. Version 2 could be sliding your hands down your legs. Yep. Some of my ladies are pretty, it's pretty easy for them to rest their hands on their feet. If you're able to do that, that's where we're headed next. But this doesn't have to be your version today. Your version could be this. Lift your chest. No. Okay, that was all of our 5. Yay. Come and find your rest position, whatever that may be. That could be laying on your back, laying on your side. Some of my people like putting their feet up on a little piece of furniture. What am I going to do? I'm going to bring myself a little bolster to sit on. So get nice and comfy. We're going to be a few minutes doing a little relaxation. So this is how I've been ending all of my classes since the pandemic started. I think we need a lot of like nummies and relaxation. Yeah, take a big deep breath. So you can close your eyes for this part because you're not going to need to see me. Take a big exhale. And if you can picture with your eyes closed, how did your feet come to rest on the floor or on the furniture. Just noticing. And so this is an experience to notice as if you are a loving, curious outside observer. So we're not trying to fix anything, or there's no right or wrong. We're just gathering information. So noticing your feet. Now you might notice sensations like tightness or shortness or length or warmth or tingling. Notice your lower legs, all the muscles in your ankles, calves, knees. Notice your thighs. Does one leg feel longer than the other? And again, we're just gathering information. Noticing your pelvis. Take another big, deep breath. Notice when you breathe in, is there any softness or movement in your belly? And if there isn't, how could you soften your torso? Could you soften your back, soften your ribs to allow for a little expansion with each breath? So we did all of our core stuff earlier. This ain't that. This is just like, let everybody relax and hang out. Yeah, notice your shoulders and your chest. Maybe with this next inhale, there's a little movement in the top of your torso, collarbones, shoulder blades. And then notice your arms and hands. And scanning back up through your neck. Notice your face. Often we carry a lot of tension around our eyes or in our jaw. Could you let your jaw just hang slack? And soften the roof of your mouth. And then if any spots that you came across are still drawing your attention, can you direct your breath to those spots? Another big deep breath. Exhale, let your whole body be really heavy. And when you're ready to come back to the room, you might wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, maybe roll your head around a little, open your eyes, look around the room, maybe yawn. And I thank you for your hard work today. So feel free to send this video to anybody if you want to see these moves live and in person, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pilates. And I got my full class schedule up on the website, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.